Chapter 21. Earlier, Steve drove towards Cincinnati while Leonard directed him to where Sam was. Steve did no talking with a headset on. He ignored Jill and kept Leonard anonymous. Leonard told Steve the signal was stationary at a rest stop 20 minutes out. Steve knew this was bullshit. Dealing with Jill was bullshit, and he wanted to make a deal and start over simple. At the rest stop, there was no BMW and no one in the building. Steve hung up on Leonard. He had Sam's phone number. He would keep Jill as collateral. He decided to drive to Nashville tonight and be in Little Rock the following night. Plenty of time to hear from Sam and his meeting. Sam called Wanda to make sure she was okay. She was, and they still had a deal. He called Tim next. Steven was good and waiting for his call. Sam knew he needed to buy time to make sure Steven stayed put. Sam stood up. He needed to move before he called the son, his father, and Leonard. Every part of his body needed to be stretched, turned, and rotated. He took 15 minutes to go through his routine. Sam added push-ups, sit-ups, and jumping jacks for good measure. He hated war, especially psychological war. Underneath it all, he hated hurting anyone. Sam believed life should be about being transparent, but since half the world hides everything, he chose preventative maintenance. He was comfortable with that. Defense and stepping aside, watching the ego, wanting, manipulation, and lying of others would discontinue once they showed their true intentions. It was a chance that sometimes cost Sam. He was ready to take the hit. His plan was to step back even further. They wouldn't be able to stand his wussiness. He laughed. He could make up words all day. One big wussy brought out real intentions and the hidden agenda. Sam thought back to when he and Leonard practiced martial arts together. Leonard used this time to dominate, while Sam showed an equal amount of offense and concentrated on his defensive timing. Sam counted to himself during every move. He felt better when involved in war when he did this. Sam knew exactly how to be assertive, when to cover, or when to take punishment to conquer. Leonard usually left triumphant, while Sam sat back and paid his instructor extra to help him use defense as an offense. Sam started counting to 10. He dialed the phone when he got to 3. "Hi, Steven." Sam knew this was going to be a guilt play from his son to get further information to lower his anxiety and to escalate. Escalating meant doing what it took to protect your environment or disable a threat. "Dad, you're scaring the crap out of me. Just come home and be safe." "And what do you think I'm going to say to that?" "You would say everything in life is temporary and that sometimes you have to sacrifice a queen to stab a king. But I always protect my king, which would be you." "Dad, you were shot, and what's Mother doing with that idiot?" "She got in over her head, and maybe she didn't have a choice. She's safe enough." "She's not safe." "You know she is. If she wasn't safe, I would have fixed it already. I just want her to fix the decision she made." "Dad, boy, are you using the shit I taught you against me?" "Yes," Sam yelled. "When it comes to worrying about me, you are red. There is no manipulating or getting around that. I get shot or stabbed, you are red. Anything else, you are yellow or green. If I'm getting stabbed, it is for the good of the king." "I know I got shot." I panicked and dropped my guard. "It will not happen again unless it's necessary." Steven started crying. "I just want you and Mom back. I heard your voice quiver before you left." "Steven, I love you too. Your training is to protect your life and family when you get older. You have to remember, maybe your mother doesn't want to be protected by me." "That sucks." "Yes, it does. You're not getting full information until tomorrow. I plan on meeting your mother and Steve Wednesday, probably early morning. It will be structured and tactical. I will need to give you a location as backup." "Dad, my opinion is no meeting." "Son, things will go well as long as you are red. No funny business." "Love you, Dad. Call or text tomorrow." Sam noticed his son didn't respond with "I won't" to the phase "funny business." He would take any bet that his son was counting in his head that second. Sam texted him, "Red, you better not be counting." No response was sent back. Sam was thinking, if his father could see him now standing next to a pink Jeep. His father answered on the first ring. "Sam, I help you confront the asshole and then nothing from you. That kick to the nuts was good. When are you going to take care of the ex-boyfriend?" "Dad." Max waited for a second, because usually his son got right into the conversation. "Sam, what's wrong?" "Thank you. I enjoyed the backup in the city. You and Gramps took it well. I'm going to keep Arthur on because I'm moving on." "Now wait a minute. He fucked you, and you were forgiving him." "Dad, he backed off, and he has some redeeming qualities. Dorothy told me he is using your software and trying to sell it." "What, Dorothy? What?" I asked her. She mentioned she was in green mode, and I took advantage. Well, I'm going to straighten him out. Besides, he can't sell the software because you are buying it for the company. I am. We agreed $100,000 after I proved it could be done. Salesman of the year. There's no debate there. Shit. No, Dad. Shoo. It's funnier that way. Max mumbled. Shit. Motherfucking shite. Dad, I may come to work for you while I'm in transition, but listen, please. I'm having a partial will drawn up through Leonard as a diversion. I just sent you a video with my intentions, so when he contacts you, you will be in the loop. I know I've never asked, but who is my father? You going down to your grandmother's? Yes. She can tell you. Why can't you tell me? Sam, I promise to never use his name. Once in a while, I use his title out of respect. Why? Why? Because he's the scariest fuck I've ever met. Dad, weird things have been happening. I touched Arthur. It looked like he had a seizure. I got shot by Steve. I should be dead. I walked toward a church and I'm healed. I just want to know what you know. Shit, shot. What the fuck? You okay? Yes, weird. I was healed in about 30 minutes. I'm not saying his name, but I'm sure you can say it. Okay, start with some info and lead me to it. Remember when you were a teenager, you developed software that counted words in the Bible. What is the most used word in the Bible? The most used word in the Bible is the... Max explained, your father's title is the most used word and one of the least. Sam pulled up the books of the Bible because most of the titles were only used once. He practiced saying that in front of each book. Only 3 books fit that sounded good. Sam said to himself, the Hebrew, the Roman, and the Corinthian. Sam realized this was going to be a big picture moment toward a mind-numbing circle. Dad, another C word? Boy, you were smart not to say it, and it sure isn't Christ. His real name will have to come as you live your life. As he hung up the phone, Sam moved forward and around that brick wall in his head. Chapter 22. Sam needed to start dealing with the people. The ones who thought he was oblivious when they spit in his face. Sam was tired. He just didn't really want to go there. He had no choice, because delivering a fuck you from a distance was not the same as a close quarters one. Sam called Leonard. Leonard laughed. Hey Sam, how's Steve? Well, he shot me and I'm wounded. Thanks for asking. You fuck. What? You okay? You need me? Nope, this is personal. I'm dealing with the people that think I'm oblivious to their spitting in my face. Thanks for the city, Arthur is contained. Steve and the wife will be. Sam, I know you need backup. I can fly out of Kansas. Tell me where you want me. Listen, I'm sending you copy to draw up a partial will. From Jill to my father in trust for Stephen. She gets the house and her car, nothing else. Short and simple for now. What about the company part? I have time. We can include that later. Besides, I sent a video to my father with my intentions. I want something filed by tomorrow, with my father's help. Paperwork and video filed tomorrow. I included a part for you and the companies to motivate you. Sam, trust me, I'm on it. I have to go. I've got shit to do. Sam hesitated, laughing to himself. He'd had a few beeps, girly man, gay wad, and you gay fuck, already thrown at him, thanks to the pink Jeep. He thought to himself, you haven't seen anything yet. A few towns ahead marked the beginning of his plan. It would be hard, but his father, Maxwell, always made him start with the hardest things first. Sam started moving and reached into his music box and grabbed a CD. His favorite Rolling Stones disc was going to be turned on high. He called ahead and scheduled a haircut and maintenance done on Wanda's Jeep. The long hair wasn't him, and he wanted to thank Wanda for her generosity. Besides, he was going to have to store the Jeep for a day. Steve and Jill were halfway to Nashville when Steve pulled over. They had argued for 2 hours, and he had had enough. He got out without saying a word, just a mumble about what a bitch she was. Steve took the opportunity to call Sam. He was expecting to get Sam's voicemail because it was impossible that he was still alive. Sam answered on the 4th ring because he had to take a deep breath and count to 3. Steve, where the fuck are you? At the rest area. I saw you come and go. Sam cut the shit. Not dead a second time? Yeah, I met you, and all you can do is shoot. We could have solved this already. Besides, I don't know what you want. I certainly don't want your wife, and if that scary dude keeps showing up, I'm not shooting you ever again. Scary guy? Before you went over the guardrail and across the field, he shows up, hung me in the air. It felt like I was in hell. Sorry to hear about that, but fuck you. I'm still bleeding. I want my drugs. Number 1, Steve, I wasn't the one who put them in my trunk. So, we will meet Wednesday morning around Little Rock. I will call Tuesday night to confirm you are at a hotel in the city. The following morning at 7 a.m., I will confirm a meeting for 8. No fucking guns. I will give you your drugs and I get the wife. Deal. I can't promise anything if she doesn't shut up. Just say nothing and look at her. You'll be okay. But just to let you know, any bullshit, the gloves are off. You'd better forget about any life for yourself. Arthur and Tony reported for duty on Monday. Arthur had the use of one middle finger and Tony had a goose egg on his head. I'm not arguing about it. I'm not firing Sam just yet. He gave me the owner's money, his software, and he didn't press charges on you and your little knife stab. You really can't fire the top salesperson. He embarrassed me twice, and I'm still not right. Tony, this isn't a ball baby convention. He let you go and gave you a chance to stop. We both didn't stop and Sam settled it. I'm just going to have to win Jill the old-fashioned way. You changed. Yes, I did. I wasted money. I could have asked to use the software. It's got a manual and it's fucking genius. Arthur, I heard you 20 fucking times already. Tony went off toward the bullpen. He felt lost, like he didn't know where to go next. Arthur knew exactly where he was going and felt something he never felt before: patience. As he entered reception, he handed Dorothy a coffee with Sam's secret ingredient. He took a box of them from Sam's freezer for himself. Arthur picked up Tony in the morning, but he arrived to work at 6, setting up his closing appointments for Friday. He read Sam's manual, or SP, Standard Operating Procedure, all night. It showed a schedule that leveraged sales ability, which meant reporting for work 2 to 3 hours early, selling all week and closing big accounts on Friday only. He said it created excitement doing them together. The trick, Arthur thought to himself, was the idea of collecting information by using the software, then delivering this info to a prospective client as proof that they will make money, oftentimes doubling their money and the company's in 1 year. The short version of this was they buy something and make money a high percentage of the time. That it wasn't a crapshoot with the right information. Arthur started with step 1, getting excited, by helping a client get excited. He thought it was sappy at first, but he saw Sam do it every day. For some reason, it made him mad and vindictive. Now Arthur felt he was just being stupid. Arthur called Sam to get ahead of this problem he had created. It was his own fault. When Sam answered the phone, Arthur said, "Sam, I'm sorry. All this is my fault. I'm ready to work with you, if you will let me." Chapter 23. Jill fell off, like she wasn't on her pedestal anymore. Men always gave her stuff, and she always used that to define herself. Arthur and Steve changed their minds about giving her more money. She showed up. They just didn't follow through on their part of the deal. Jill knew she should give Arthur back his money. It would save her marriage, but she earned that money. She knew her actions could cause suffering and rejection. It just never happened to her, and it wasn't going to happen now. Steve got in the car elated. He could see the light at the end of his tunnel. He wanted to close the book on Jill. The chapter written about her in his life fully sucked. "Steve, I'm only saying this once. I want my money, and I'd better get it." "Well, Jill, I'm over you. I just sent the last of it to your account. So shut up and you can come for the ride, or just get the fuck out." Sam almost shit his pants when he received a call from Arthur, much less getting an apology. He texted back, "You are going to be paying me back for a while to win me back. Sam, I will have a check waiting for you written out for $149,999. I know that's supposed to be funny after the $1 check. You are lucky I stopped at 2 fingers. I guess that was my joke to you. So enough with the chit-chat. Get to work." Arthur set the phone down. Sam was right. Get to work. He was the king of this empire, and his rule was starting today. Arthur pressed his intercom. Dorothy answered, "Yes, sir. Have a check drawn up for employee number 24 for $1,000. I need it in 5 minutes. Thank you. I'm also giving you a paid Friday off this week. I'll be covering the phones for you." While Arthur waited for the check, he hung up his coat and rolled up his sleeves. He took a gauntlet that looked like it was from the Middle Ages from his briefcase. It was the left glove, and it fit perfectly over his splint. He had it refinished some time ago. It was perfect. Arthur left his office as Dorothy entered reception with the check. She handed it off, and he grabbed it with his right hand. "Dorothy, I left a folder on your desk. I will need 30 copies of that manual by 10 this morning. You can have it copied down the street. I want each book bound. You can stay there while they do it. Expense that from petty cash." Arthur left reception and went straight to the bullpen. Chris, stand up at attention. Chris stood up slowly. Arthur shouted in his face. Elle said get at attention like in the military. Yes, sir. Here's your checks. Your commission and bonus check for this past weekend. I doubled your weekend duty pay because you are appreciated. After this meeting, take a paid day off. At ease, which means sit down. The bullpen didn't know how to take Arthur. He never came in there, much less care about them. Tony, attend tie-in. Tony didn't get up. I said fucking attention before I backhand you in the face. Arthur pointed at him with the glove. He stood. Personally, Tony, I'm working this week for free due to my conduct at the convention. You will be doing the phones at Dorothy's desk on Friday. I gave her the day off. I will not. You will. Not reporting at 8 sharp. You will be suspended for a week due to insubordination. Attention, everyone. We are number 4 in the company, and our own Sam Shepard is the number 1 salesperson. We have a year to be off probation. This means more money in your pockets and promotions. I want everyone to pick up a new manual from Dorothy. Study it hard. You will have Sam's software on your computer by Wednesday this week. Sam tripled his sales in 2 years. There is no reason why we can't do the same. The last chapter shows a commission structure we will start using next Monday. It is the same commission rate. This means your seat is worth $50,000 in commission. The company goal over the next 5 years is a $100,000 seat. For example, if you have $30,000 in commission, you need to add $10,000 a year to reach $50,000 to remain employed. Training will start Monday. This week my door is open. I will assign teams of 4 with a team leader. Each team will meet with me on Monday. This will happen every week until the end of the year. Our goal is number 1 by September of next year. I expect this conference room to be filled every day with clients signing contracts. If you need a quiet room, anyone can sign up to use Sam's office until his return next week. My office is open for generic questions from 9 to 10 today. Good luck. Another thing, start using the scheduling system on the server. You update this by the minute because you will receive appointments coming into the office daily. Compliance is mandatory or termination will follow. Arthur left the bullpen. He was going to be global instead of just thinking about himself. He entered reception, took off the glove, and sat down at Dorothy's desk. He fielded 3 phone calls before Tony walked in. Arthur updated his own schedule and assigned the phone calls with messages to several team leaders. Tony waited until it was 9 o'clock. Boss, what the fuck? Tony, this is the new future. I'm assigning you team leader duties. Read that fucking manual and update your schedule because your first huge client will be here at 9:30. You send them to me if you can't close. Arthur, Tony, not another word. Clean up your language and your attitude. You want to give up $100,000? Because that is where you will be the end of this quarter. Send in Chris before he leaves. For the next hour and a half, Arthur assigned every call to a team leader and met with 2 other employees that had questions. All team leaders were informed of their duties just as Dorothy walked in. Dorothy, as of today, you will be taking all your breaks. We will meet on the hour for a few minutes. I will work the phones on every break. Today you will receive a $20,000 raise with increments every quarter when you achieve goals set by me. There will be no extra work or volunteering to be nice unless it is needed by Sam or myself. This will be my last swear word as your boss, but basically you will be above all those fucks out there. The scheduling system is priority. Your first duty is to hand out those manuals today. Take one for yourself. You will be leveraged in your position as we go. You will be promoted next September with the success of us working as a team. I am thanking you for putting up with me. Thank you. Sam received Arthur's final text of the day. It seemed Sam's dream of building a cornerstone division at Kane Stock could happen. 5 years of dealing with Arthur and his stubbornness. Sam had been one step from using the hammer on him. Chapter 24. Sam passed a group of lakes, just a few more miles left before his plan started. Sam could do this many ways, but he needed the practice doing it the most difficult way. Without practice, he would fail in Little Rock. Sam entered the town of Major, Tennessee. It was still light out for another hour. He accelerated the Jeep up to 60 miles an hour, just enough to be safe and get noticed. Sam picked this town because the police station was in town across from a diner. The best place to get in a fight or get arrested was a bar or a diner. People tended to take things personally there. Sam blew by the station. Nothing. So he decided to skid to a stop and backed up the 100 feet to the diner. He walked in and scoped out the place. It was empty. One cute waitress and two huge guys in a booth. One in particular was trying hard with the waitress. But he was fat and his material sucked. This might be easier than he thought, but it was going to hurt. Sam looked at the two and abruptly turned to the counter. The name tag said, Donna. Sam took his long hair, gayest fucking shirt on earth, cowboy hat, and awesome shoes to the counter. He leaned over, close to her, and made her laugh. Donna, who are those two? Be careful, the police chief's sons. Sam said, perfect, and stepped back 5 feet. I'll order a double number 2 dinner, medium on the burgers. Put that in at 7, and I'll be back at 7:10. Appreciate it. Sam turned left and walked to the door, hesitated for the millisecond to hear the earnest one say, who the fuck does he think he is? Sam turned. I'll be back in 45, and we can discuss it, Ernest. Sam thought this plan was a crapshoot, but sometimes human behavior aligned like the book said. He got in the Jeep and slammed the door. A half-mile down the road, he pulled into a clean service station. He was happy for that. Dwayne helped him out at the counter. Sam ordered preventative maintenance, driver's side visor, may-up mirror, remote starter, new tires, CD/cassette deck, and an extra key. They settled on $1,100. Dwayne, I want this by 2 p.m. tomorrow. Here's an extra $100 as a tip. Sam always paid in advance, because most of the time they would give him extra care. I'm passing through, but I'm probably opening a few businesses in Arkansas. So good service will bring me back here every quarter. Sam, yes sir. We will order parts and start tonight. Dwayne, you the owner? Yes sir. Here's my number. If you want to expand or open a second station down the road, let me know. Without complications, I'm walking through that door at 2. Sam changed his shirt and grabbed his Kevlar baseball hat. He found the barber shop in about 100 steps. 15 minutes to closing. Sorry, can I get a simple haircut and shave with a $20 tip before you close? They shaved his face and gave him a business-looking haircut in 20 minutes. It had been a while since he had one. Without the look, he might have to work a little harder for Ernest to flip out. But maybe not. Donna might like the clean look. He had 25 minutes to eat, swoon, irritate, wait for the police chief, and slam Ernest's head against something before the sunset. Sam expected to do items 1, 2, and 3 at the same time. Item May 4th never happened, but Ernest was a lock. It was just hard to maneuver around a wide body. Sam didn't hesitate, because waiting was futile and he couldn't live with himself if he wimped out. The place was busier. He walked in and looked at the back of Ernest's head and nodded at the smarter brother. Sam sat at the counter. The smart fat guy said, Gaywad with a haircut at 2 o'clock. Remember what Dad said. Sam wanted this to go a little slower, but what the hell? Yeah, Ernest, what did Daddy say? Ernest turned. If you were smart, I'd shut up. Oh, I will right now. Sam stood up and went to the booth next to theirs. A cute older couple were smiling a little. Sam offered to pay for their meal if they moved to the inside of the booth. It should be safer there, Sam explained. They laughed even though they didn't know why. Of course, Ernest wasn't laughing. Sam took a few minutes to eat a burger. He laid out $100 on the counter. He whispered to Donna, You want me to handle that disaster for you permanently? She laughed and whispered back, Well, yeah. Donna, I like paying in advance. Mine and the couple's meal behind me and a $50 tip to play along. By the way, my name is Sam. Sam reached out to shake her hand. When she reached out, he took her hand in the palm of his and placed his other hand on top. He made her laugh harder this time. Sam wanted to take a bet that the whole diner would be watching. Donna. Sammy. Donna, seeing you, I needed to come back. Ernest blew up, came across the aisle and pushed Sam to the floor. Get away from her before you get hurt. Sam stood up and noticed the chief looking at his son from across the street. Sam yelled, You back off. Sam moved forward and Ernest actually took 2 steps back. Sam yelled in his face, I love her, you ugly wide load. And here it was coming in slow motion, the punch of the century. The father and brother were thinking fuck. Sam counted to 2. The punch was coming, 1, and Sam stepping a half step to the left and snapping his head to the right, 2. A near miss, but from a distance looked severe. Now here, right here the fast motion happened. Slight trapezoid muscle grab to upright Ernest's balance. Sick-looking neck choke from the side, plus an ear twist to take their 2 body weights to the edge of the booth. The back of Ernest's head slammed on the table. He was moaning on the floor, when Sam jumped from the seat doing a cannonball to the chest. The father was going to have to arrest him. Sam stood up and watched two cops come for him. The sticks were out. Sam stood with his legs wide and hands on the back of his head. He figured they would check out Ernest first and handcuff him second. Sam wished he had his protective gear. Next time he would. Don't move. Chief, he looks dead. Shut up, Clyde. Put him on the ground. The sun had been setting. Sam could see Clyde's reflection in the window. He brought up his baton and was doing a two-handed axe swing to his head. Sam angled his head backwards as Clyde's arms came down. The stick bounced right off the Kevlar cap and knocked out Clyde's front tooth. The chief took a swing to Sam's hips. Sam hit the ground. The chief delivered 5 good blows to his back and legs. After this, Sam couldn't think straight. Someone else said, "That's enough." That someone was experienced because he used leverage power to bring Sam to his feet. The chief and Clyde dragged Sam to the station. As they reached the curb across the street, Sam heard someone babbling in Hebrew to his right. He was crazy and oblivious. The chief yelled through the window, "I want Evans out here to deliver this nut to the Nashville rubber room. And throw this one in cell too. Process him when he is able to walk." Sam let the officers, not so gently, take him to the cell. His hips and legs were in shock. The chief was nice enough to stay away from his knees and lower legs. Officer 1 and 2 were looking at cell 1. Someone there said, "Set him down nicely." Ironically, they did on the cold floor and locked the cell. Sam laid on his side for a while. The plan was to start moving, but he didn't want to. Sam noticed the occupant in the cell next to his was sitting and observing. Sam managed a "Hey." The man said, "You think you should start moving?" Sam thought to himself, "You should be moving." He managed to roll onto his back and bend his legs. Without thinking, Sam said, "You sound like my grandmother." "Son, that would be impossible. She sounds like me." Sam let that go, because his grandmother was old and this guy looked 50. Sam rolled around some more to get his blood flowing. The guy in the cell was trying to get him going, basically trying to get a reaction from him. Sam finally said, "You are one smart ass." Boy, it runs in the family. Sam thought that term boy ran in the family too. Sam tried to sit up to get a better look at the guy. He could only see his mustache from the floor. The statch looked gay. Something from the 1800s or a porn film. Yep, Bat Masterson for sure. Sam looked at the floor and started counting to get his shit together. He needed to be with it when they processed him. Sam couldn't get over seeing so many cops in a small town. Lucky for him, more officers created more opportunity to get what he needed. Sam noticed they never searched him. He still had his hat on. He started rolling his neck around when an officer came in. "Bruno, he walking yet?" "Nope. Give him 30. I want 2 steak dinners and 2 beers now." The officer managed a "fuck you." The guy stood up. Man, he was short. He raised his hand and the cell door popped open. The officer immediately said, "All right, I'll do it." The cell door slammed shut. Sam sat there in disbelief. He thought, what the hell just happened? Sam said, "Bruno who?" Guy sat down and said, "Just Bruno." Sam looked closely. "Fucking Uncle Bruno? You hit the nail on the head, more than you know. He is coming. I'm not really your uncle. I use that to keep it simple. I'm your forefather." The chief came in and told Sam to get up. No cuffs, no nothing. Took Sam a few minutes to move from the floor to the outer office and a desk. "Sam, I'm the chief." Sam sat there and said nothing. He was speechless. The chief knew his name, and there was a mess of equipment just sitting on 10 desks. Nothing locked up. Sam said, "Shit." Chief said, "Yeah, shit." Just then 4 officers brought in a Mammoth guy. They said, "Killed another in the city." "Sell one." Sam stood up. "Bullshit." Chief said, "Calm down. I'm sure." The chief collected simple information. "Take off your hat, belt, shoes, and shirt. Tomorrow when they release you, you can collect your wallet and things from the locker over there." The chief handed Sam a white shirt. "Sam, when I take you back, prepare yourself and stand away from the cell doors." When they walked back to the cell, the officers were moving quickly to get by them. Sam could hear a commotion from the cell block. He heard a booming "No, it certainly wasn't Bruno." The chief said, "Get in there and stand back." Sam walked and couldn't help but stand back. It looked awful. The Mammoth guy was doubled over grabbing the bars of the cell door. His face showed a hell Sam had never seen. Bruno held the bars above his. Bruno's small body was bucking the shit out of his large ass. The guy's face was smashing against the bars repeatedly. Steam was rolling off the guy's body and he was slobbering all over the floor. It would have been comical if it wasn't so disturbing. Sam held up his arm and pointed. Chief, really? Just watch. This is a serial killer. He deserves it, okay? Hit your cell. Sam watched because it looked like a burning building with violent screaming that suddenly turned into crying and speaking in tongues. This guy was not going to be the same, ever. A while later, several officers put the guy on a stretcher. Sam assumed he was going to county lockup or the nut house. Sam didn't want to say it, but his brain took over. Uncle Bruno the ass fucker. They sat in silence until the steaks and beer came. It was good. Bruno ordered 2 more dinners before the officer left. Bruno cut into his steak. Yeah, I check in here often. Good food and free rent. I visit all the jails. It's my mission. Bruno. Boy, don't judge me. I've been doing this for centuries. I just want to know about my father. That's off the table. Never say his name. He only came into contact because your life turned to red. You will be yellow if you're smart. Bruno, as in red, yellow, green? Yes. Did that come from you or my father? Sam, it's obvious. I deal with the black and white. Wow, he was solid black? Pretty close. Sometimes you can't wait for hell to get them. Sometimes you lay hands, and that's enough to change the direction. I touch my boss. He's acting weird. Sam, give me your hands. Sam got up and stuck them through the bars. Bruno checked him out. Nope, no real amperage there. You probably will have none in your lifetime. It takes several to compound it to a useful level. Chapter 25. Stephen had dinner again with Tim. He knew Tim was there just to babysit, but Stephen realized Tim was a good friend to his father. Earlier this morning, Stephen went straight to school. He gave the office a permission slip to leave 15 minutes early. After school, he went to the bunker and set up his prop. When it looked perfect, he set the camera to still mode. He had 5 minutes to get home on time. Stephen had asked Tim if they could have dinner early. He wanted it to look like he wasn't going to the bunker today or tomorrow morning. Tim had dinner ready when Stephen walked through the door. Stephen served himself and sat at the dining room table. They had meat, vegetables, salad, and ice cream. Stephen did the dishes while Tim talked about their upcoming Alaskan cruise. Stephen couldn't help but get excited, but underneath he felt bad for being sneaky. His dad would have to understand later. This situation was hard to bear, and his decision to see things for himself was decided. Just then his mother finally called him. Mom, no, you left me. You should be here. No, that's a lie or an excuse. Just do what Dad asks and come back. You're not listening. I love you too. Tim eased in a question. You miss your mother? Stephen looked down. He didn't want to cry. Listen, I saw you set up the chess set and some books. Was that a distraction for me, or did you really want to play? Stephen admitted, both. That's what I like about you and your father. You answer a question honestly and directly. Sit down and grab a pack of cards. I want to show you something. Stephen, in life you are dealt a hand or specific cards. Decisions you make from the cards that you've been dealt are up to each person, which means no one is right or wrong. Sometimes you are dealt a good card, sometimes bad. But most importantly, some past decisions you've made concerning those cards come back later to screw your life up. Your parents made decisions from the life they were given. Same thing, no right or wrong answer. Tim threw a 2 card in the middle of the chessboard. This your father. Next, he throws down an ace. Your father as a 2 is facing an ace in life. What does he do? I don't know. Right now, you don't know which is better, because neither is better or right or wrong. It's not fair to judge either one. You can't judge your mother or your father. Right now, your father is the 2. Who's the ace? Could be Arthur, his boss. Could be your mother. Could be me or you. That ace is someone powerful that saved your father's life. That ace is a 2 to someone or something else that could be a trillion times more powerful or more intelligent. Leveraged around us is someone always better than you. Your father taught me several lessons in the beginning. I was 20 and nothing when your father hired me in Portland. Your father would say, you have to let things happen and quit judging everyone. Stephen, what he was saying hit me hard later, when he and I had to spar for our next belt. I was 210 pounds at the time, and he was his middleweight 180. While training, he never cared to win every move. I thought I was better and stronger. Your father would tell me, you're not quite ready to win this belt against me. I thought he was full of it. Stephen said, what happened? I came in extremely aggressive. Every move I made seemed ineffective. I still don't know what happened, but I was slammed on the ground hard. I sat up to see your father's back walking away from me to grab the belt. Tim, that seems impossible. Look at you. Everything isn't always as it seems. If your father promotes me, others deserve to be promoted. Everyone has the faith buried inside. You have to look for it, use it, forgive with it, be humble with it. Tim, I made up my mind. I will look for it and be humble. I just have to look that word up. Can we play chess now? Of course, but you're not ready. Steve paid for his own hotel room. He left Jill in the lobby to fend for herself after they agreed to meet at noon the next day. One more day to get his shit and drive straight to the city. He would be out and moving toward a simple life. Steve took a shower, got dressed, and texted Sam to confirm their agreement and his hotel reservation in Little Rock. He planned to eat at the best restaurant and see an awesome show. Most of all, he wanted to repent and get to know his son, something he gave away years ago. Bruno, am I going in the right direction with this Jill thing? Sam, cut it out with the future thing. She keeps the money, you stay. She keeps the money, you leave. She's not capable, her history shows that. You could stay and give her nothing. Nothing would produce what? Point taken. You feel sorry for the boy. I don't blame you. Is my father gone? He left after the diner. What? How do you know? Sam, he doesn't need to, but he tells me the old-fashioned way. By Pony Express? Sam, you think you're so funny, but I'll admit every dog has his day. Good one. You can quit quoting the Batman. What? You know what I'm talking about. Bet Masterson, Nixon, Abe, Emily D., and Napoleon the favorite. I'm offended. I'm taller than him. Bruno, whatever. You told me unless you've seen it with your own eyeballs, be weary of belief. I've done the French unit math. You are shorter by 3 inches. Sheet. Is that your French accent? That was funny. Sam and Bruno laid down for the night. Sam knew who told his grandmother that you never volunteer information because his uncle was pretty good at it. Where did never volunteer information come from? Son, nowhere. The historical quote is never volunteer for anything. Right. Chapter 26. Sam luckily woke up at 6 a.m. First time in a while he didn't wake up at 4 feeling like himself. He figured Bruno would be gone, and he was. The whole building of people were gone. It felt like wartime leave. You were called when needed. Sam noticed all the cell doors were open. He felt small and realized the world was an unknown place he needed to get in touch with. He would start today. If Jill wanted to be that selfish little girl that she never grew out of, her choice. She watched him every day. If she didn't get on board by now, she never would. Sam stood. It was going to be several hours before he would feel ready. He reached out to the bars, pulling and stretching his body. Sam laid on the floor and rolled around. This usually moved everything every which way. Sam mentally thanked Bruno and his real father. Maybe the message would get through if the operator could hear it. At 7, Sam walked around the station. All the equipment was gone. He went straight to his locker and found his stuff. At the bottom was a large bag. He wedged it from the space and put it on a desk. Sam inventoried the bag. He started with a note from the chief. Sam, I assume you learned from last night. Good meeting you. I learned gobs from you. Between that headlock, the plan to invade my space, and that cannonball hit, loved it. I'm retiring and getting unshackled from the handcuffs I've been placed under. Here's my number. Stay in touch. Chief. Sam started to believe again and decided he would stay at Canestock, Syracuse for a while longer. He didn't want to leave the windows. Maybe not working the job every day, but letting his thoughts marinate to his next possibility. He would keep one and throw out another. In the bag, Sam had some futuristic body armor. Simply put, a taser, a couple of hand weapons, and a purchase order to him for 50 of his Kevlar hats. Sam would take that business. First on his agenda was to keep the white shirt. He called the chief. So when do you plan to retire? Sam found a shower, washed and dressed. He liked his haircut and he liked this town. Sam put on his black hat. He looked good in the white long-sleeve shirt, jeans, and his comfortable, good-looking shoes. He grabbed his new bag and walked across the street. The diner was busy. There was the cute waitress and another one. She was handing out coffees and bagged lunches to a line of people. Sam nodded to the smart fat one and took his place at the counter. He placed his order and called Dwayne. Hey brother, what's the ETA on the Sam vehicle? D, be the man. Decide and make it the best, before 2. But Sam had 4 scrambled eggs, macaroni salad, water, and hot tea. He would be eating carbs all day. Sam finished, left his number with Donna, and walked around the town. He talked to everyone and looked for opportunities. By 12, he loaded his shit and organized the storage in the Jeep. It was 3 hours to Little Rock. He picked a small-town motel to stay at, and he had his appointment ready to visit the grandmother. He missed her. Stephen woke up early and packed his knapsack carefully, because Tim offered to bring him to school. Stephen didn't want him seeing things that would ruin his plan. Yesterday, Stephen brought equipment he needed from the bunker. He stored it in the safe room until he needed it today. Stephen had all his paperwork in his cargo pockets with his passport. His plan checklist was written on his hand. His father trained him that the hand alleviated anxiety. The act of just looking instead of thinking about doing turned off that stress lever. After he got to school, he looked at his hand and walked to his homeroom. He sat in his seat and velcroed his silent phone to the bottom of his seat. Stephen waited for the school attendants. He left the building on the way to his first class. 2 blocks later, he sat in his scheduled ride to the airport. He paid his tip up front, just like his father. He was ready. He had decided. He knew what to do. Stephen just needed his father to volunteer his location. Jill remembered it was Tuesday. Arthur still didn't transfer the money. She called to see why not. Jill, I'm busy. You never give up. The world is not centered around you. It's simple. I lied to you a lot in the past. The lying is over. The truth is you really don't need the money, and you did no work that produced any value. Fact is you should pick Sam. He's richer than me, and he proved himself. You will be with him or me. I just don't think your bullshit is going to work anymore. Arthur hung up before Jill could utter a syllable. Just fucking bullshit. Arthur looked up at his client. This would be his 4th contract in 2 days. Sorry, let's close. Lunch next door is my treat. I'm trying to stop swearing. Chapter 27. Sam picked up a few subs for lunch with Dwayne. He had finished the Jeep early and couldn't stop talking about his next business. They ate and agreed to discuss their options in January. Sam sold Dion investing in his next lot of investment in October. Sam said he would pay for that investment if Dwayne rented an apartment to him for the year. They wrote out separate checks for the books. The dumber chief's son was going to shit his pants when he found out Sam lived next door. Sam and Dwayne couldn't stop laughing as Sam ordered a poster of Smokey and the Bandit 2 online. Dwayne agreed to put it up in a frame and stencil Cannonball Run in the hallway of their apartments. This should fill the rest of your apartments. It's called Marketing 101. Sam laughed and hopped into the pink Jeep. The world was waiting. While Stephen waited during the trip to the airport, he scheduled a return drive the following night. He arrived at the airport at 9:30 for a 11:40 flight directly to Little Rock. Stephen walked up to the counter. He pulled the first set of papers from the cargo pocket of his pants and his passport. Stephen set these down and told the attendant no baggage to check. They looked at the papers 1, 2, and 3 and gave him a boarding pass. At first, he was scared something would be wrong, but there wasn't. He bought a paperback from a store on the way to his gate. Stephen started reading until he had to board. When they called his flight, he called his mother from his second phone. Mother, I'm giving you one chance to listen. Get on a flight today and come home. Mom, give me this, come home. Okay, just saying you heard me. Love you, bye-bye. Stephen stood up and started toward the plane. Jill hung up and texted her son. I will be back in 2 days. She knew she should abandon this trip because she made a mistake coming. She wanted to know if Sam would always be with her. Stephen sat in his coach seat. He could read this book until he landed. Once he landed, he would call his father. He ordered every snack and drink that he could order. Please, I'll need a bag for that. When the attendant brought his order, he offered some to the lady sitting next to him. Stephen set down his book and decided to learn how to get over his fear of talking to others. He started talking to her. They didn't stop until they landed. He felt good testing his courage inside. Soon he would see his father and mother together. Maybe he would have to practice other things. He set the rule inside his head to be read, no matter what was said at this meeting. Stephen had to see the truth. He called his father and hoped for the best. Sam and Tim checked Stephen's phone during the day. He was in school. Later, Tim ensured he was at the bunker doing his homework. Sam, as promised, gave the time and location of his meeting to the boy and sent him instructions. Remember, read on the meeting info. Can't trust your father fully. Dad, love you. I'm doing what you told me. I'm red and will stay red until you tell me different. Dad, I called Mom. She wouldn't listen, but no judgment. I'm doing what I have to do. Dad, I have to go. Sam left the motel. He walked down the street to a grocery store. Found 5 items he needed for the meeting. He also picked out a nice card and gift for his grandmother. It had been 6 months from his last confession with her. He told her everything. Sam took out a pen and wrote down every question he had on his hand. He had collected these over the last 2 days. Sam wanted to connect the dots starting with his mother. He wrote 10 words on his hand. He hesitated for a few minutes, but changed his mind. Sam could worry about the meeting tomorrow, plus he needed more information. Sam walked 2 miles to the home Grammy was transferred to last month. It was still assisted living, but self-contained. They were like one-room apartments. Sam announced his intentions at the front desk. Sam Shepard to see Grammy Shepard. Oh, Sam, she is so looking forward to seeing you. Room 316 at the top of the stairs. Sam knocked on her door. Grammy let him in and gave him a long hug. Ace, ace, ace. Grammy, that's a good hand, and I like your room number. They sat down and looked at each other. Sam cracked first because he wanted to grab all the juice out of this visit. Love you. Sincerely. Well, I sincerely love you, Ace. I will be visiting you and walking with you every week starting November 1st. I rented an apartment in Tennessee. Well, I'm at the end, Ace. And I want to be here until that time. I brought you a gift. Framed picture of the sun, Stephen. Sam set the picture in among the others on a shelf. Everyone was there. His mother was in the center. I see you've been making him do the push-ups. He looks good. I love that kid. Ace, you love everyone. Well, Graham, it's your fault, because you paid attention to me all these years. My whole life revolves around the deck and what you told me. Sam, I guess it's time, isn't it? Sam and his grandmother stared at each other some more. My real father saved my life and I met Bruno. You met your father? It doesn't sound like him. Sam told her all about it and his meeting tomorrow. Sam, you could sit in a chair and do nothing. Wouldn't change anything. You've given Steven everything. Why can't you do the same with Steve? Steve? That's different. Ace, is it? Sam realized his questions didn't matter. But his grandmother took over and told him the story that answered them all. It ended with Sam finding out his grandfather was deep-healed by Bruno for wanting to kill his real father. He hated the fact that his future son-in-law had to leave his daughter. Your Uncle Bruno fixed your grandfather real good. Grammy laughed a little bit about that. Ace, here is the deck. But before you take that rubber band off, the king is Arthur King. Sam shuffled the deck and found Arthur's face on the king of diamonds, and he found his hairy head on the 10 of hearts. Bullshit, I have to protect Arthur? Your father told the story. I just drew it. Is that why Max didn't fire him originally and stuck him with me? Max is funny that way. Sam received a text from Tim that the sun was not in the bunker. Stephen had rigged the camera and set up a life-size picture of himself sitting at the desk. Pack Stephen a suitcase, the one with the red stripes, and go to the airport personally. If he flew out, take the Buick to New York City to help Max with a few lawyer things. In a few, you'll be going to Chicago to put final touches on the businesses. I promise you'll be back with your family after that until our next adventure. You better be ready for that next belt. Sorry, Graham, that's Tim. I hired him as my new lawyer. He's also buying the bar. You still exploring the world with him? He is my best friend. Why do the aces have no faces? The ace represents the good or conflicts in your life. It constantly changes. Sam, sometimes you have to pick a path for others and live with the consequences. Your inability to confront Arthur led to a 5-year development of something from him. Think about that. Chapter 28. Tim's new information changed the order of things Sam had to do. His son wasn't acting 12 anymore. He said goodbye to Grammy and made his way back to the motel. Sam emptied out the Jeep. He set aside and put in one bag his meeting things. He grabbed his ingredients from the grocery store, mixed them in a small jar, and poured them into a Ziploc bag. He sealed the zip top with duct tape. He set this on top of the other things. He used part of the mixture to paint a red stain on the white shirt. He placed it on the lower right outside of his abdomen. Sam ordered room service and started moving around and rolling on the floor. He had about 7 hours to sleep, get motivated, and pick a path with the answers he received tomorrow. Sam called Steve to confirm the hotel they were in. He called the hotel, and they transferred him to Steve. Sam, I'll do whatever it takes to see the boy. It will be different. Steve, let's start with being civil first. Jill, okay. She is, but conflicted. I guess we are both fucked up. Stephen was the first one on his flight to walk through the airport. He got $200 out of an ATM before he exited. He walked down a line of taxis and got in the front one. It was a woman driver. Perfect. He found out her name. Chris, I pay in advance. Fast food first for the both of us. I want to be taken to Spruce River Falls after we eat. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., I need you to pick me up there for a return trip to the airport. Here's $100 now for the food and drive. $100 tomorrow when you pick me up. Chris turned toward Stephen, offered her hand, and said, "Deal." Stephen practiced more talking and listening as they drove the 20 minutes to the river road. He checked online and decided where his base camp would be. Stephen decided his spot would be north of the falls. Anyone entering the falls from the south by the road or woods could be seen by him. If he set up behind any vegetation on the hill, he would be hidden. Stephen remembered his trips to the Adirondacks and the Grand Canyon of Pennsylvania. After he was trained on the compass, his father would leave him in his tent with a map location and a note saying, "Come find me." It was the best. Usually, his father had the stakes ready when he walked in. Besides, his father watched his progress, and they had phones as backup. Stephen had his spare phone, extra battery, and his gear. He remembered his father always saying, "You are in charge of the toilet paper and the tripod seat." His father would explain that you dig a small hole 3 feet from a tree. You sit and grab a thin tree, then lean back and let it rip. He told him that usually when squatting without the seat, you are trying to miss your clothes. You lose your balance and fall in shit. Stephen walked up the road. It was a quarter-mile to the falls. It was a small area. He walked on the platform near the falls. His phone said 60 feet to the bottom. Stephen quickly checked all the other falls in the area. They were definitely higher, and the water was not as deep on the bottom. Stephen realized what was going on. His father had a plan, and he'd better stay out of it. He continued around the perimeter before the sunset. The hill was perfect. He set up his camouflage tent and put his sleeping bag inside. Stephen grabbed a small bag from the bottom of his knapsack and walked down the small hill. His spot was elevated about 15 feet higher than the falls platform and could not be seen from any angle. He would add more camouflage as a double check, especially from the rear. Stephen knew he needed to hurry because he didn't want his plan to fall apart. He was more than 12 hours early and probably 9 hours early to his father coming here. His father gave him the location as backup. He thought he got an A+ on backup and probably failing on listening. But escalation was part of the equation. He set up 2 cameras from different angles. Using headphones and 1 remote, he could power up and hear everything. His father would have his phone. Definitely not enough when you have to record a situation. Stephen set his phone on vibrate. He would set only 1 alarm in the morning. He looked over all the work. It was good. Next, he grabbed and ripped off evergreen branches. He set those up as a tripod around the back of his tent. The plan was sleeping bag, binoculars at his side, and reading for 2 hours. The phone alarm was set for 3:30 a.m. The opening of his tent faced the platform. Through the bushes, he could see the scene from left to right. The head of his sleeping bag was near the front door flap. He could flip over on his stomach quietly to see everything. He would leave the zipper part of the door open. He practiced all his movements, especially exiting the tent if he had to retreat. All his equipment was placed for easy access. Lastly, he powered on and off the cameras while using the remote and headphones. He took out his compass. Stephen was facing south. He orientated himself to any direction that his father might be looking at. Stephen was always his father's lookout or navigator. He went over his routine a second time. When he was satisfied, he flipped over to his back to read the book, The Turn. He fell asleep around 10.